Lionel Messi's mind-boggling switch to Miami sent shockwaves through the sporting universe. But here's the kicker. It was not about the billions. Instead of chasing a jaw-dropping fortune in the Saudi, Messi picked a struggling MLS squad and cut a deal that redefined the game. It left the world scratching their heads. Why would he pass up billions to pocket pennies? The answer? It's a story of football, love, strategy, and sheer brilliance. Join us as we unravel the extraordinary business wizardry that made Messi go to Inter Miami. As you all know, a transfer in football is a business transaction between two clubs that involves a player moving from one club to another. Generally, football transfers can be broadly divided into two main categories: loan transfers and permanent transfers. In a loan transfer, a player is temporarily moved from their parent club to another club for a specified period, typically a season or half a season. On the other hand, a permanent transfer involves the complete transfer of a player's registration and rights from one club to another. Permanent transfers can be further subcategorized into two main types. The first type involves transfers with a fee and potential add-ons. In this scenario, a transfer fee is paid by the buying club to the selling club in order to obtain the player's registration rights. Alongside the initial transfer fee, there might be additional clauses or add-ons included in the transfer agreement. The second type is free transfers, which is exactly what Messi accomplished in the summer of 2023. This is the topic we are going to discuss today. Free transfers usually occur when a player's contract at a club is expiring or has expired. Basically, in free transfers, a player moves to a new club without a transfer fee, and negotiations often focus on the player's contract, which includes various financial components such as salary, signing bonuses, additional bonuses, and potential sponsorship deals. This is the usual occurrence in free transfers in football. However, Messi's free transfer to Inter Miami goes beyond the norm. Messi has entered into a 2.5-year contract with Inter Miami, securing his commitment until the end of 2025, alongside a reported option for a further 12-month extension. His annual salary at Inter Miami is estimated at approximately $55 million per year, within a 2.5-year contract valued around $150 million. The contract incorporates a signing bonus, which is standard in most transfers. Additionally, there are sponsorship deals to consider. While it is widely known that Messi has already engaged in some sponsorship agreements, such as those with Hard Rock Cafe and Lay's, the offers from Adidas and Apple stand out as more significant than the average sponsorship deals typically offered to Messi, or to that matter, any football player worldwide. We will delve into these sponsorship deals in a future video. Currently, our focus remains on the next pivotal aspect of Messi's contract: equity. While the multi-million-dollar salary aspect of the contract might not be groundbreaking news in modern football, the inclusion of equity represents a novel development in the football realm. Let's examine this element more closely. In very simple terms, equity is the value of the shares issued by a company. Providing their employees with equity is common practice in many industries, especially for senior or executive-level hires. This concept is most commonly found in the technology industry, within publicly traded companies like Apple, Google, Meta, and Microsoft, regardless of the hiring level. Let's consider an example of Google. Here's the total compensation for a new graduate software engineering role at Google. Now, let's examine the salary for a senior software engineer. Lastly, the salary for a principal engineer is as follows. As you can observe, higher-ranked employees often receive a significant portion of their compensation through equity-based means, such as stock options or equity grants. This approach allows tech companies to attract top-tier talent by highlighting the potential financial rewards and the alignment of interests between employees and the company, by awarding them a percentage share of the company. When we shift our focus even to other sports, we can witness the emergence of this concept. For instance, the National Basketball Association's, or as commonly known, NBA's new collective bargaining agreement grants players the opportunity to invest in NBA teams. Players will have the option to invest in teams through an NBPA-selected private equity firm. Moreover, in this context, it is specified that while players may not possess ownership of teams, they can hold an ownership stake in publicly traded securities that constitute less than 5% of the ownership interests in a company or entity that directly or indirectly owns an NBA team. Another example can be found in 2015 when Steph Curry signed a 9-year, $215 million extension that included Under Armour equity. Furthermore, there are numerous current and former professional athletes who own stakes in sports outside of the ones they play or played. However, in most of these cases, athletes use their own money to buy their stake in other teams or clubs. But Messi's case is totally different and revolutionizing. Let's go a bit deeper to understand how. Usually, football clubs do not offer ownership or equity for players because clubs often have complex ownership structures involving multiple stakeholders, including individual owners, corporations, and even fan ownership in some cases. Both Barcelona and Real Madrid are historically owned by their supporters. They are structured as member-owned clubs, known as socios in Spain. These clubs prioritize the democratic participation of their supporters in club governance. Offering equity to players could complicate these ownership arrangements and raise legal, ethical, and governance challenges. But Manchester United, Manchester City, and Chelsea ownership structures are more aligned with conventional business ownership models. It means they have ownership models that involve individual owners or corporate entities. So these clubs can technically give equity to players as compensation, but they typically do not provide equity ownership to players due to a variety of factors, as I said earlier. In simple terms, owners do not want to give ownership to players to dilute their share. They don't want to share the pie. However, Inter Miami accomplished this remarkable feat for Messi, which is truly extraordinary. Aside from his salary, Messi has the unique opportunity to exercise his ownership in Inter Miami club's stake in the franchise after he finishes playing with Inter Miami. In fact, Messi has the option to remain in MLS in 2026, when the United States, Mexico, and Canada will jointly host the World Cup. Messi's decision to join Miami with this particular arrangement could have been influenced by what David Beckham received at LA Galaxy. Beckham's move to the LA Galaxy was contingent upon his ability to purchase a future expansion team for $25 million, a strategic move that eventually led to his ownership of Inter Miami. However, Messi's arrangement is distinct. In the future, Messi will possess shares in his own sports club. In reality, Messi has the potential to elevate both the global profile and market equity value of Inter Miami, who are currently in the bottom half of the table in the league. While Inter Miami was valued at approximately $580 million last year, this valuation could ascend to $1 billion following the unveiling of its new stadium, Miami Freedom Park, in 2025. Messi will receive a percentage of the increased market value of equity in the planned maximized equity of Inter Miami by 2025. If it is 20%, then we are talking about approximately $200 million in market value of equity. This sum is intended to provide dividends indefinitely, both during and after Messi's career for Thiago, for Matteo, and for Ciro, for as long as they hold this stake. This is, in a way, a master stroke from Messi. Rather than getting a lot of money from Saudi and figuring out how to make the best use of the money by himself, now he has secured his future for a long time to come with the Inter Miami deal. It's important to note that while equity ownership can offer some protection against inflation, ownership of the tangible assets, club's value, revenue streams such as ticket sales, sponsorships, broadcasting rights, and merchandise can provide a consistent source of income for the club and its owners, which can help counteract the effects of inflation on purchasing power. Now it's clear how brave Messi's decision was. He made an unprecedented transfer, marking the first of its kind in football history. I believe this will undoubtedly impact future transfers in the football industry. In essence, we can say that Messi has revolutionized football transfers for good. Isn't it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel.